All right, guys. Today I got Omri Amar from Collingwood Tattoo Company. Man, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man, no problem. So for those who don't know you or anything, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
My name is Omri Amar, as the man stated. I've been tattooing for about 16, 17 years now professionally. About 19 years being in tattoo shops. I started working in a tattoo shop back home in Israel when I was 14. Um, Pretty much that's all I've been doing since, man. Came to Canada in 2009 or 10. Met my wife. We traveled a bit. And I moved to Collingwood in 2011. 2016, we opened Collingwood Tattoo Company.
Nice. So you're not originally from here, obviously, right?
No, no, brother. I'm from Israel.
Nice. What do you think of
No.
Canada being here for that long?
Oh man, it's land of possibilities, as they say. You know what I mean? Like shit. I haven't been here that long, and to be able to have my own tattoo shop here, it's everything I ever wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Now,
Um,
now you got a
yeah,
family and stuff here, and
yeah.
which is
God, you know what I mean. One of the reasons I opened in Collingwood is, you know what I mean. I got married in Collingwood. I bought a house in Collingwood. My son was born in Collingwood. So I decided, this is home. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for
represent a
sure.
little bit of local pride.
Yeah, well, it only makes sense for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So anyway, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, please.
Like I said, gonna get the cat out of the bag. Um, I'm sure just like every other artist right now, how's COVID treating you? I have to ask, man.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It's
the
the time
shop
we
is
live in. I got no
closed.
choice.
Yeah, the shop is closed, as everyone else is in Ontario right now, waiting for what the 23rd, I believe, we get to open. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Other than that, pretty fucking still, man. Like I bought some equipment to start doing screen printing, so I can start doing a little bit of side hustle with some art and t-shirts.
Hmm.
I was in the process of opening a tattoo shop in Costa Rica, but again, with this COVID and no flying and no traveling, that's kind of on the side burner right now. Um, yeah, pretty much everything has been put on hold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and your mental state, how's that doing? You doing okay?
You know what?
Besides
It's
being,
a,
the obvious, obviously, right?
I'll be honest with you, it's a little harder this time.
Yeah.
This second time around, like it's a little more getting to me, even though it's shorter. I'm definitely feeling a lot less productive. Like I'm not trying to accomplish anything because I'm constantly in this. Who knows if they're going to let us open on the 23rd?
Yeah.
So
Well, I know that with like, the schools and stuff like that, I was actually speaking to one of my kids' teachers and stuff, and they said that it's probably going to be extended. Them not going back to school on the 23rd, but there's no obviously set date. So I'm wondering, it's probably going to be the same thing for us, right?
yeah,
I
the
mean,
numbers
it
keep
only makes,
rising.
yeah. I mean, and now they're talking about this whole curfew shit. I mean, Quebec and all that shit's already there, right? Between 5 and 8, you're
Yeah,
good, and after 8, you're boned essentially, right? So I mean, I'm sure we're going to do the same thing. And like shops that are open till, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be forced to close early if we can go back. And
and actually get back to work.
yeah, I mean, working till 7, I guess, because, we got to clean up, do all that other shit, close up and get, have time to get home. And I guess it's better than not being fucking open at all, right?
You know,
Yeah, man.
it's just
So,
it sucks being limited, man. It sucks having your hands tied, but it's the world
yeah,
we live in right now.
yeah, man, it's unfortunate, but it's the way it goes, right? And like I said, it's not something I want to talk about every podcast, but right now I kind of don't have a choice. It's kind of the hot topic. It's the topic. That's what's happening worldwide right now. So I mean, it'd be stupid for me to not mention anything
It's
about it.
happening to everybody and everywhere, man. I got friends all over the world, and everyone is just struggling. Like
Yeah,
anywhere from, I have friends in California where they're open, but there's no one getting tattooed. No one has money for tattoos.
hmm
Everyone's broke. I got friends in Israel, where I'm from, who people are getting arrested for being outside, for being out of your hometown.
Shit,
You
eh?
know what I mean? Yeah, like they're taking this curfew shit seriously at some points. Other points, I see videos of friends of mine at the beach and not a
Yeah,
mask in sight. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I think that's why they're doing this whole curfew thing is because nobody's following the fucking rules with the whole social distancing and the masks and all that shit, right? I think that's why they're implementing this. I mean, what other reason would
Yeah,
it be, right? But I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, it sucks,
yeah,
but
man.
it's the way it goes
You
right
know
now.
what? I took this quarantine shit a little seriously, so I haven't left my house in about 2 weeks. And I stepped out for a bit the other day to do some grocery shopping, and I
Yeah.
was just shocked at the type of businesses that are allowed to be open.
Yep.
That's what surprised me the most. Like I saw cigar shops are open, and you know what I mean, and such, and it just surprised me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an addiction, I guess, right? Tobacco, right? Same thing as liquor store, beer store, and all that shit's got to be open, right? You'll have a lot of
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
whatever, man. But anyways, let's get into the tattoo shit. I don't want to keep going on COVID. I don't want to make the whole thing about COVID. But
Make it
I mean,
interesting.
I'm sure we could go, the whole fucking podcast talking about that bullshit. But
Amen.
so how long's CTC been open?
We opened in May of 2016. Yeah,
Okay,
so we're just going into our fifth year.
nice.
Uh,
How many artists you got working for you right now?
Working with me, I like to say.
Yeah, well,
I work
that's what I
for
mean.
me,
Working
bro.
with you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Jake McQueen has been with me since day one.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Amazing black and gray, large realistic work.
Hmm.
Um, Now it is me, Jake, and we have Cami Kwan, who, as you know, he's been taught by you. So
Yep.
luckily, good fundamentals there. And you know what I mean? We've been working with him, and he's
He's
just been
doing good, man.
growing ever since. Yeah.
I've messaged him personally and told him that I was proud of him. He's doing good.
Yeah, which
So
is which is super cool to see. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
always nice to be like in the background of someone rising. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah.
And we got my former apprentice or apprentice. You know what I mean? Are you ever done being someone's apprentice? I don't know the definition, but he is my former apprentice that now tattoos people. Connor Yearwood, who does amazing traditional work, super dope, funky style of his own, which that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, man. And as for your style, you kind of I see on socials you go back and forth with a lot of stuff. I mean, you're pumping out
I,
fucking realism portraits. You're pumping out neo trad, traditional. You're pumping
uh,
out almost everything, man. You're pretty goddamn versatile.
well, thank you, bro. You know what I mean? Like tattooing for as long as I have, like or anyone, that's been tattooing for over 15 years. Like
Yeah.
we didn't get to at the beginning. There wasn't this, develop your style thing. It was tattoo whatever comes in through the door if you want to eat thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially where I came from, like in Israel, man. Like when I started the first few years, like I worked um, in shops where you were a salary employee. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like you got a check at the end of the month. It doesn't matter how many tattoos you did. So
And
it was
the places like
sorry.
that even exist nowadays. I mean, I don't know. I've
I
never
don't
worked at a
think
shop
so.
like this, so I don't.
I don't think so, man. I don't think that stuff exists anymore. I don't think anybody accepts that anymore. But at the time, you know what I mean? There were, I don't know, in the entire country of Israel, maybe 20 tattoo shops. You know what I mean? You didn't have your choice of where to work. You kind of had to fight for a place to work at
Mhm.
because you didn't want to work at home. It's not like now where working private at home is considered high class. Back then, you were considered a kitchen magician. You know what I mean? It was,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, we've got a lot of those around, eh? Kitchen
yeah,
wizards. I
yeah,
mean,
man.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, we still have the kids that come in because we're in Collingwood. We're a bit of a tourist town, so we
Yeah.
got the tourists coming in the summer and tourists coming in the winter. So and we still have the kids coming in and asking us about buying a needle to you know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean?
We get that here still too in Barrie. And for those
Yeah,
of you who don't know, Collingwood is only like, half hour, 40 minutes away from Barrie as well. Um, but yeah, man, we still get that here. Like I said in the previous podcast, there's a hawk shop here maybe more than one. And I don't think it's called the Hawk Shop. I don't think it's them. I think it's like a smaller one. And I was in there one day. I was looking for a drill or something. It was when I worked downtown, and I went in, and there's tattoo kits there, like eBay kits there with needles and shit, and they're all expired. There's pigments there, open and stuff, and
You
there's
know, nowadays with the internet, what can you do about that? You know, like I remember back in the day, like my mentor, he used to buy scratchers tattoo equipment off them just so they won't have them. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But you can't do that stuff anymore. There's no point to it. They can keep ordering it online, like
yeah. That's it. You can just keep getting from eBay too, right, or whatever. Fuck
Amazon
Amazon.
nowadays, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazon, just so you know, the people who own Amazon, they own Kingpin, they own like tattoo supply companies, as far as I know.
Hmm.
Like so they literally sell tattoo equipment on Amazon now.
Jesus.
There's no limitation. You know, back in the day, you used to have to prove that you're a tattoo shop to be able to get tattoo equipment. There's
Yeah.
no restrictions anymore. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, is Studio One still a thing too? I have no idea because I remember you
You
could go in
know,
there and
I
I have
remember
no
the
idea.
first year I was in Canada, Studio One blew my mind because you know what I mean? Like I've been in tattooing for a few years. You know, this is 10 years ago. So I've been in tattooing almost 10 years prior to that, but
Mhm.
I've never been in a store that sold tattoo equipment. You know what
Right?
I
I
mean?
know. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I walked in there and to me it was like, you know, like a kid in Toys R Us. You know what I mean? I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like ink sets and fucking needles and you know, you can look at stuff. It's not just a magazine or online. So
That's our candy store, bud.
yeah, yeah. But you know, now you can do it with, you know, with major proper distributors. You know what I mean? Like they have
Mhm.
stores now, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which you know, the FYT
Reputable
guys are
distributors.
very exactly. They're very
Yeah.
accommodating. They're very, you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
cool to go down for a visit.
Yeah, man. You know, plus too with social media and even you know, suppliers and stuff like that, you know, being a loyal customer to them and you know, constantly buying supplies from them and so on and so forth. I mean, they even give you shout outs on social media and stuff, you know,
Yeah,
which is great. And then, you know, for some it might work out into sponsorship or whatever, right? Which is very cool. You know, everybody's
yeah.
supporting each other. The whole community's got each other's back on socials, and
Oh yeah, man.
you know,
That's I
it's
would
great.
say that's one of the biggest changes I would say in the industry is
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure you know it when we started, like the older cats, they wouldn't share information with you, let alone
Nah, sacred, buddy.
support you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. That, yeah.
I remember a guy telling me to put my jig. A jig is needle making,
Yep.
you know, whatever. So he told me to put it inside soap and some other chemical, and basically had it, you know, basically fucked up my shit just because he didn't like the fact that I was doing it. You know what I mean? Like just to fuck your day up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was all cutthroat, right? And I mean, a lot of it
Yeah.
still is. You still get, you know, shops that are at each other's throats.
Really?
Artists.
Still?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You still see it, man. Especially in. I can't speak for anybody else's town, city where they're from, but I'm sure it still exists to some point. But I can tell you now, in Barrie, it still exists. I mean, there's a lot of shops here that are great. You know, you know, I speak highly of mostly every shop here, and I'm not going to speak negatively towards the ones that you know I don't give a shit
Yeah.
about. I'm just, you know, I just don't say fuck all anymore. You know what I mean? It's we have to mature at some point, you know.
You
But I
ain't
mean,
got
it
nothing
doesn't.
nice to say.
Yeah, I mean, how many shops are in Collingwood? Two, three?
Um, so now it is three
Who?
because
Which was the one that was down the street from you? That was bigger.
Steel and Ink,
Stinger?
Steel and Ink,
Oh, Steel and Ink. Okay.
Steel and Ink. They're still there. They have one in Barrie. They have a few
Yep.
locations.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
actually I used to work there years ago. Like I know the guys. They're really cool guys. It's just you know what I mean. Just a different style of doing things. That's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
much what happened. That's all.
Yeah, Brock. Well, Brock. I did. You know Brock
Yeah,
Puzzles, right?
yeah.
I
I know
mean,
Brock. Yeah,
I've known that guy. I've worked with that guy for years, man. And
yeah,
you know, he's running the Barry shop. So,
yeah.
but yeah, man, I think with him, they do like the higher end jewelry and stuff like that, right? All that
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah, yeah. A lot of higher end. Like I think it's like the idea of higher end everything, man. Where
yeah, which is super cool, man. Like I
yeah,
said, I spoke about this before with, you know, with him and whoever else about piercing, the industry of piercing.
had a
You
major
know,
change.
I know, yeah, big time. Like, do you do piercing at your shop or no?
No, we're strictly tattoos. We don't sell merchandise. We don't sell jewelry. We actually send when people come to us because unfortunately on social media they list you as tattoos and piercing,
Yep.
regardless of what you do.
Yeah, I know.
So we still get the phone calls almost daily about piercings, and we send them up to Steel and Ink because they are the best piercing place around us.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's the same with us. We don't, Hellfire doesn't pierce or anything like that either, right? No
no,
merchandise, just strictly tattooing, man. And it's funny because I actually send everything to Brock at Steel and Ink as well. They're not far
exactly.
from us either, right? I mean, we're on Cundles, they're on Bayfield, so it's not too far. It's 5 minutes up the street, So
I still need to come check your shop out, man. I still
yeah,
haven't
man.
been out there.
Yeah, I mean, we just
Uh,
had our fucking glass door broken, I guess, just before or just after Christmas. I don't know which one it was. Kyle called me, and I guess right away we thought, somebody busted in, and we're like, fuck, somebody took all our shit, and it turns out it was nobody was in there. The plow company, I guess, ended up smashing the window somehow. I don't know how, because the
oh
door is
wow.
recessed like 6 feet, from the parking lot itself, from where the curb is, right? So I mean, it could have been a chunk of ice flying off the plow or something. But anyway, they it got boarded up properly, by one of our contractors and good friend, and they just replaced the glass now, so it's been fixed for like a day or two. But yeah, man, come check it out. You're
That's
welcome there
crazy.
anytime. You
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, that's crazy though, man.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah.
I know with this whole COVID thing going on and everything else, where conventions sit and guest spots sit, and I'm sure that you'd like to see that shit
Oh
go,
man.
come back, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's the hardest part, man. Like I love traveling. That's my favorite part about being a tattoo artist is the fact that everywhere I go, I get to work there. You know what I mean? I can tell you a dozen places I've visited. I haven't seen much of them, but I tattooed there. You know what I
mhm.
mean? I love conventions. Mainly for me, it's the I don't like getting too comfortable. You know what I mean? Like when you sit at home, you get this comfortability where people know you, they respect you, you know what I mean? There's this ambiance of no challenge where you go to conventions, you see all the great work that everyone's doing, and you're it just it's that push
It's
that
very
you know what I
inspiring
mean?
too, right?
Inspiring,
Not
exactly.
just
Yeah,
for socializing and what was the other word I'm looking for? Networking and stuff like that, right? I mean, it's very
yeah.
inspiring because you're going to see artists that you don't even see them on social media because you don't follow them, you've never heard of them, and then you go there and you're
Hmm.
like, holy shit, this guy's
Yeah.
pretty big. He does some amazing work. I can respect that, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure once COVID is finished, or we're kind of more free to do what we want, you're going to see a fucking artists go nuts, man. Like,
Oh
conventions, we're
man.
just we're just itching to get out, right? I mean, a lot of people are with concerts and everything, but speaking,
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah,
about
dude.
tattoos,
I had fucking tickets to Rage Against the Machine before this shit started.
those are probably pretty pricey, eh?
You know what? A friend hooked us up. It wasn't terrible. It was
Mhm.
totally worth it. And for a kid growing up in Israel, bro, like Rage Against the Machine was a dream. Like I never like they broke up fucking 15 years ago. I never
Yep.
thought I'll ever see them
Hmm.
perform. So, you know,
Yeah, it's cool to see
fucking
some of these bands that we grew up with getting back together, right? Like even fucking Guns N' Roses, man. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of people won't like them, right? A lot of newer generations won't like them, but my generation, fucking right, we grew up on that shit, man. And
It's just to say you've seen them. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Like we
I would
never
go
got
see
the
Metallica.
opportunity.
I'm not a fan of Metallica and all their
I
new
would
shit,
go see
right?
Metallica in a fucking
I would see
heartbeat.
them in a heartbeat, man. Ozzy, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
grew up on that stuff, but
Yeah, man. Especially before they go, you know what I mean? You don't know who's gonna fucking, disappear on you without getting to ever see or hear them.
yeah, we got another like 60 years until fucking Ozzy goes. Apparently,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
man.
him and fucking Betty White.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're still
Jesus.
kicking, bro.
Yeah, my wife's been watching the fucking Golden Girls, and I'm looking at Betty White, and I'm like, Jesus, you haven't like you do not change. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no shit, eh? That's so
Yeah,
funny. Um, so your style of tattooing,
yeah,
again, I just said it before, a few minutes
yeah.
ago
So
with your
yeah,
style
yeah.
being so versatile. What do you prefer? What's,
You
What
know,
would you
now
rather lean towards if you had to pick one style?
I can say one of the things that I do try to do in the shop is because I do try to help the guys direct their art and have the career path that they want to do, because I kind of feel like I've done what I wanted to achieve in tattooing. So I kind of try to be there as a bit of a safety net, that if there's something that comes in that they are uncomfortable with or they feel like they can't do the best on, I'm there for that. I do like the daily change. You know what I mean? The from doing Celtic to doing tribal to doing neo-trad to doing realism. I like the challenge of it. You know what I mean? I like the trying to be precise and follow the guidelines and the rules and the style of each style properly.
Hmm.
But if I get to nowadays, I get to be a little more picky. I get to have my choice. I would say color realism and neo traditional. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like me, I've kind of made my decision, with tattooing, and it's always brought me back to the more realistic side of things, right? And that's, and I can't just say, hey man, I want to do black and gray, or hey, I want to do color realism. It's I enjoy both, and it depends on the
Yep.
piece for me. Um, there's a lot of portraits that'll come in and they're like, hey, I want this color, and I'm like, hey man, that's pretty cool color, but honestly, I think that portrait would look badass black and gray, and vice
Amen.
versa. But
Amen.
my
Like,
styles always lean towards realism for sure.
yeah, I always say one of my favorite pieces of yours is a piece that I get to see in the summer a lot. It's the Frankenstein on the side of Cammy's leg.
Yeah.
I love that piece. And one of the
Nice.
things I love about it is the skin breaks and the control of where you wanted to have ink and where you just left it alone, which is always a hard decision with the light tones that we can get nowadays.
Yeah.
And less is more kind of touch, and it's just dead on, man.
Dude, I say that
And
all
that,
the
that
time to people. Less is more.
and that's a good example of a portrait that I would have said the same thing. This is better in black and gray.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm like I've within the last, like, I'll say like a year prior to COVID even happening, I started dabbling into the opaque black and grays. And at first it was weird at first, and I found myself basically mixing opaque black and grays with black and gray, and some tones or some part of that image I was doing would be like opaque kind of, and then the other part would be like a wash. And I wasn't sure how it was going to look, and then I'd see it all healed, and I really like it actually, man. And I really want to do a few pieces that are just strictly opaque black and gray, basically tattoo it like it's color but strictly opaque, which would be
Yeah,
interesting. I don't know if you've ever
I
done any
think
of that kind of
maybe
stuff.
like on roses, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
where I had situations where people wanted cover ups and they wanted somewhat of a black and gray rose, but a solid actual black and gray rose with the skin breaks would not have covered up the tattoo. So I always vary into the grays, because that
Mhm.
way they kind of get the best of both worlds. They get a solid cover up, but you know what I mean? It's still in gray tones when it heals, kind of like the black and gray.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually so since you've been on lockdown, we've been on lockdown. I know you said something about the silk screening and stuff. Are you doing any artwork on the sides other than digitally, or just strictly digital,
Um,
if any?
mainly digital, mainly digital. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm doing a little bit of like logo design for some people that have some businesses locally.
Hmm.
Um, but honestly, mainly, man, I'm just spending time with my family. Like I said, I don't know when we're gonna be back to work, but my schedule is full. So that
Yeah.
was the biggest challenge with this closure, is just rescheduling people
Yeah.
with getting the least amount of pissed off individuals.
I think for the most part, there's a lot of people that are pretty much understanding, about this
Yeah,
whole thing, right?
100%, 100%.
Like, I mean, no, I know, 100% of my clients pretty much have been pretty decent, man.
I think we may have had like one or two that had a little bit of an issue, but we always find a solution. You know what I mean? I'm not
Mhm.
harsh. You know what I mean? I always try to find somewhere where everyone is comfortable and everyone is happy.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Um, I can tell you, I definitely a little bit put my foot in my mouth, where I'm one of those that said I'll never close my books kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
and it got to a point where I'm just booking a little further ahead than I'm comfortable with. So now with this quarantine, that's the biggest change, is that I'm not booking new clients right now,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to get everybody situated, because I don't know if they're going to push it back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't think anybody fucking knows at this point, man, unfortunately.
yeah.
But yeah, the reason why I asked is because, I obviously went digital pretty much like everybody else. And then just recently I went back to doing oil paintings and Prismacolors and stuff. And I actually just ordered a shit ton of those Copic markers. Thank
Oh,
you.
dope.
Yeah, thanks to John Wayne. He gave me some advice and told me that, I'd probably like them, just considering, like he knows kind of some of the
Oh,
mediums.
they're awesome, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I bought more than what he told me that I should buy. But that's on me, right? But yeah, I'm stoked for them to get here, man. I tried to
Yeah,
order
man.
from Michael's actually and do the curbside pickup, and they had fuck all. So I ordered all. I think it's A through E, all 5 sets of 72 markers. So like
Jeez.
300 and some fucking markers. But anyway, they're on the way here. I'm excited for them to get here, man. I
So where
had to
did,
order
did you
them on
have to
Amazon.
did you have to order them from the States or?
I ordered them from Amazon because it's the only spot I could find all sets. So
Oh,
even on Copic on their site, I could not basically like place
wow.
an order right through them, right? So last resort was Amazon for sure. But
Wow.
I want them. I want
Yeah,
them
fuck
quick.
yeah,
I
man.
want to I
Especially
want
now
to
that you
want to
have
use
the
them.
time for it, you know what I mean? Make
Yeah.
best of the time.
Yeah, man. So I'm really excited to get into the Copics when they get here. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a set the other day of black and gray ones, but they're not the brush tip. They're the chisel, and then the small nib. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
So it's a little harder for you.
yeah, they're black and gray, but I'm still gonna use them, obviously, right? So,
Yeah.
but what machines are you using these days? You still in the
Right now
coils?
I'm no, I've been on the rotary tip for about 2 years now.
Hmm.
I've been using the Zion, sorry, the Flux, the FKR and Flux for the past 8 months, something like that.
The wireless one?
The wireless one, man. It's just for sheer, you know, cleanliness, travel, being able to move around the table comfortably,
Hmm.
no pull back weight on the back of my arm from a battery or a cable. You know what I mean? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, everybody's speaking pretty highly about that thing. I haven't
Yeah,
picked it up yet. I'm using the Sol Nova, the Cheyenne right now,
nice.
and the Zion, obviously. Um,
So you see, the Zion to me, like I would still say right now, the Zion is my favorite machine. It is the I literally bought the Flux in case something happens to the Zion,
mhm.
because a coil machine I can fix,
Yeah,
rotary,
yeah, you're
shit
kind
out
of
of luck.
boned. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you had to send it
So
back for repair.
and who has time to wait for that to happen? So so I bought the Flux, but then it's just so comfortable. So the Zion became the backup, but it's still my favorite machine. It hits, I would say, just a little bit harder than the Flux,
Hmm.
and I work fast, so I like my machine hard hitting. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, great machines. I love the FKI machines.
Nice. Yeah, like I've been using the Zion. The Zion's great, but recently, what I've been sticking to with the last like 6 months was the Sol Nova, the Cheyenne, and that thing's pretty versatile. It's short, stubby, it's fat, so
Yeah.
it's good for the
So what do you
for
like
those.
about it better than the
I'm
the
not gonna
Zion?
say I like it better. I think it's the shape, like because it's just small,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay.
Like the
Just like
Zion, like the weight of them both are great. They both kind of like they're both punchy as shit. They're both very reliable. They both pull lines, push lines, whatever the fuck you want to say. Um,
yeah.
color packers, black and gray shading. They're just very versatile. I don't know. I think it's the shape because, like, fuck, I wish I had them here, but it's got to
You
be
see,
an inch or two shorter than the Zion.
I don't know if I've worked with the Sol Nova yet. I worked with a Cheyenne Pen a couple years back on a guest spot,
Yep.
and it was a beautiful, great machine, like for black and gray, super smooth, super soft hitting.
The Hawk pen.
But the Hawk Pen, I guess.
Yeah.
But like the only thing I was just missing is that little bit of punchiness. With I enjoy big bold lines and I enjoy packing color, and I just found it to be a little. It made me work a little harder than I wanted to. Where the Zion, is just, you know what I mean? I just do
Pretty
not
bang
worry
on.
with that thing. Yeah, line, shade, color, just go. You know what I mean? Which
Mm.
I remember having to used to set up 4 or 5 machines at a time for a tattoo.
Oh
So
shit. Yeah, I remember, man, back in the good old coil days, eh?
yeah,
And then
yeah,
fucking 3, 4, or 5 tattoo machines, different needles, different tubes, and holy fuck,
yeah,
what
yeah,
a
man. To be
fucking
honest with you,
mess.
I still haven't I still haven't been able to bring myself to sell them.
You know, a lot of people say the same thing. I don't hang on to that shit. I like even at my house, I don't hang on to fuck all. If I'm not using it, it's fucking history. So, I mean, I didn't need to keep mine. They're gone. I don't care.
Yeah,
I made the switch, completely from coil to um so anyway, yeah, I ended up just
yeah.
pitching them all together. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, fuck it. They're just taking up space. I'm going to make more rooms for rotaries, right? So,
No, no, valid, man, valid. It's just to me, it was always that shape. Like I have like 2 or 3 tattoo machines tattooed on me. You know what I mean? It was always
yeah.
that noise, that shape, that you know what I mean. There's something about it that still
Oh,
talks to me.
absolutely. That noise is never going to
Uh,
go away, and you can always us as
yeah, man.
artists, we can always fall
Yeah,
asleep to the serenading sound of a of a coil
yeah,
machine.
yeah, man. You know, the only reason I ever made the switch really is I remember doing conventions and just being the only one in the room making noise. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just got to a point where it was just uncomfortable, the silence around you where you're fucking like just
Yeah, who the
buzzing out
fuck is
there.
that guy? Everybody shut the fuck up over
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah, straight up. Let's say you're the one guy in the fucking alley of booths with the fucking sound system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what's your? Are you going to take on any more apprentices at the shop, or what? You done?
Oh man. Um, you know what? I'm pretty much done. Like I'm considering. Like I constantly consider it because people ask, and I do like giving people opportunities, and I see people that really like it would better their lives, and I consider tattooing the thing that saved my life. You know what I mean? It put me in a better place than I
Yep.
could ever
Me
go
too.
to. So I always, I like the idea of being able to give that to people, but I also know how hard I worked for it till I was able to actually get a proper apprenticeship. I remember years of chasing it. I remember being so into it that when I actually got my foot in the door, I cut all ties with anything else because I just wanted to focus on that. You know what I mean? Like I moved from Israel to the United States for my apprenticeship, so wouldn't, you know, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have friends. I didn't have family. I rented an apartment, a basement apartment from my mentor, and I worked in his tattoo shop 8 days a week. You know what I mean? Like I didn't.
Mhm.
I say I lived in Atlanta for a year, but I didn't see fucking shit of Atlanta, man. I didn't. I think I went to a mall once. You know what I mean? And that's to get supplies. Like I worked. You know what I mean? It was about tattooing. If I finally got that opportunity, I was going to take it. And unfortunately, with a lot of these people that are asking me for apprenticeships, I don't feel like it's the same drive. I don't feel like it's the same passion or love towards it. I think they just would think that it's an easy, cool job, and it's not how I look at it.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's the thing. And like I spoke about this in again previous podcasts and stuff. Asking other artists questions like this, and and like I said it earlier too about it being sacred. A lot of people, it's very more mainstream right now, and it's going to keep going mainstream. But there's a lot of artists, obviously, that are still keeping things sacred about this whole thing, man. And the old school way of tattooing. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
I've only been tattooing for about 15 years now, and I don't know shit. There's so much for me to learn about the industry, the art of tattooing in general, even the history of everything before us. Like the older
Amen, man.
boys, man.
Amen, bro. Yeah.
Like shit, man. But so your shop, I know that you mentioned to me, but I'll let you explain it. But I will
Yeah.
ask the question of
Yes.
are you ever going to expand, open I know you said open a second shop in Costa Rica, but COVID kind of shit the bed on that one. But your existing shop in Collingwood, you ever plan
Um,
on expanding?
So first of all, with the Collingwood shop, for people who don't know, we did expand about a year or two ago. We got an upstairs. I have a second floor now that pretty much acts as its own private studio, which is mainly where I work. And when we have guest artists, they work up there with me. And we have the downstairs, which is the street shop, which is by appointment, and we do walk-ins. Um, I do think with these closures happening, continuously, that we will probably downsize in size, but not in artists. We're still going to keep the same four guys that we have. We're just probably going to lose a little bit of that extra space. We have, you know what I mean, the drawing space and a lunch area. We're just going to downsize on that because I think the wave of the future is a little less hanging out in the tattoo shop, a little more coming, getting your appointment, and going home.
Yeah, it seems like it's
Where
more professional. You know what I mean? I guess that's the word maybe that we're looking for too. And
yeah,
people don't really go there to hang out anymore. You know?
no, it's not like it used to be, man. And
No, it's
especially
just
now with COVID, you don't want a lobby. You don't want people hanging out in your shop.
I never want that in the
So
fucking beginning. I hate people hanging out at the front of the shop. I can't stand it. Like
yeah,
our waiting room isn't that big. We've got a 2-seater leather couch and maybe a chair or two or something. But I don't mind the odd person waiting. Of course, I can't stand, like, my shop is open concept, and your shop at the bottom is open concept. I have not been
yeah,
to your shop since the expansion, so I don't know what the
yeah.
top looks like. But um, ours is open. We have two glass saloon style doors, I guess.
Okay.
Um, so people aren't allowed back there. It's kind of stay at the
Yeah.
front kind of sort of thing. This is, COVID aside. This is before all this bullshit happened. But even then, I don't want people hanging out in the back. And I remember, previous shop. I'm not going to say Hellfire. I'll say shops before that. People would come in to get a tattoo, and they'd bring fucking 3-4 friends with them, or their mom and their brother and sister. And I'm like,
And
holy
that's
fuck, like, moral support, is fine from like a person maybe, but I mean, I don't go to the fucking dentist and bring in my entire family while I'm getting my fucking teeth
I
worked on.
exactly. I think that's, and like you said, I think that's just the wave of the future. Like, there's no more big groups. There's no more. I think it's just a matter of keeping it a little more private and a little more sanitary and a little more sterile. You know what I mean? If you don't need to be there, you don't need to be there. This is
Yeah.
medical adjacent, at least, if you don't want to call it medical.
Well,
It's
this,
medical
for some
adjacent.
artists that might fucking break their concentration a little bit too. I mean, I'm
Yep.
not easily distracted when I'm tattooing. I mean, when I'm concentrating. But at the same time, when you got somebody that's annoying as shit right beside you
Yes.
because they're fucking patting their friend on the leg, or fucking, you know what I mean? That the client ends up moving because they're laughing because of some bullshit that their company just said or something. You know what I mean? There's tons of distractions, and I can't stand it. It's just I would rather you just kind of sit over there
Yep.
kind of sort of thing, or just sit the fuck in your car.
I agree.
That's the way I'd like
Right.
to keep it, for sure.
Yep.
All right, brother. Music. What's your
Music.
preferred style of music to be bumping in the shop?
Uh, you know what? I listen to hip hop. I listen to rap a lot of the times. You know what I mean? I unfortunately fucking mouth the words a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I serenade my clients a little bit. I apologize if anybody watches this. Um, but yeah, fucking man, I like bumping the hip hop. But I enjoy everything. Like, I listen to some folk music, some country. We try to fuck with everything because
Mhm.
you know what I mean. It puts people at ease. You know what I mean. It gives me something to bump to and to kind of vibe to while I work. I love music when I draw or tattoo.
You
Uh,
know what? I found when I'm drawing or just doing art and shit, like at home, like I don't know if you can see it. I just made a little bit of an art studio. I bought a desk and shit. I got
yeah, man.
studio
Setup looks
lights and stuff.
dope.
Thanks, buddy. So yeah, if I'm drawing, whether it's drawing a piece for a client or just painting or whatever the fuck I'm doing, I find I put headphones in, and I find myself listening to a lo-fi playlist a lot. Um,
Hmm,
you know what lo-fi is, right? Obviously.
Not exactly. No, no,
No? Oh, okay. It's
no.
basically like mellow hip hop beats with no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like
it's
instrumental.
yeah, it's
Cool.
I don't know, man. I just find that I'm just kind of
Yeah, yeah.
mellow. It
Fuck
just
yeah,
kind of
dude.
puts me in the mood to draw and all that shit. Because you know me, I'm a metalhead. I've been a metalhead for years.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like my hip hop. I've been into hip hop a lot lately. I even grew up on that shit. But metal is where my heart sits and always has been, and that's usually what's played at my shop too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Kyle, my business partner, Jamie, and all of them, they like Jamie likes the deathcore, harder shit, the
Yes.
hardcore metal, and Kyle's kind of mathcore, hardcore, I guess. I don't know what he's like. He's a musician, and so is Jamie, but um so he kind of likes a different spectrum of music. But I honestly, I don't like tattooing the metal anymore. I can't fucking take it anymore, dude.
You know what? I can't stand it, but you know what? No, I don't. I can't say I can't stand it. It depends on what. Like again, like certain stuff I'm down with, but downstairs at the shop lately, luckily again I don't tattoo there. I tattoo upstairs.
Yeah.
They listen to podcasts,
Yep.
and it drives me fucking crazy. I cannot handle the podcast shit. Like I listen to Joe Rogan here and there, but like just hearing a bunch of fucking dorks talk about fucking shit
So
while
like
I
people are
tattoo.
gonna fucking hear us dorks talking.
Exactly. Hence, but I'm saying like the while I'm tattooing, I can't. I
Yeah.
need music. I need something that has a beat to it, something like that. I can't just like a conversation.
Yeah,
I get
we started
distracted,
this.
honestly.
Really, eh? So we
Yeah.
started this like I don't know about like a podcast. I mean, I got tattooed like before the shutdown by Jamie. He did the other side of my head, and I put on a podcast. That was like when I was just getting into this kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, man, like I'm just listening to other people's podcasts, to getting pointers and all that other shit, right?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And it didn't last long. I'll tell you
Shit.
that. We were just like, yeah, this is kind of fucking dumb. I don't want to, listen to this shit. And then we ended up putting on
It's
stand-up
like listening
comedy.
to another conversation. Someone in the room having a conversation. Like I
Yeah,
can't.
you're right.
Yeah.
The stand-up comedy though, again, listening to somebody talk, but it was funny, right? And
Yeah.
I found listening to that was okay at times, but only in spurts.
Yeah.
I can't do it all the time, right? But for me, when I'm tattooing, I now recently the last few months started putting headphones in, and
Oh really?
I literally just put my Galaxy Buds in and fucking I don't even care. I just tell the clients, hey man, if you got something to say, like it's got the ambient sound to it, so I can still like hear them
Yeah.
if they're, But I said, hey, tap me or something, right? And it's been working out pretty good. But
I used to work with headphones, but now that I work upstairs, I do the Google fucking man, what is it called? Even
that little tower thing,
the little tower thing. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Google Home or
That
whatever the
way,
fuck it's
Google
called.
Home, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that way, I don't need to take my gloves off. I can just sit there and yell at it,
yeah,
and most of the time it works.
most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time. Stand up wise though, one of the coolest things that made me think, one of the coolest things I had in a guest spot. I went and did a guest spot in Abbotsford. Shout out to Memento Mori, dope shop. Everybody should go check it out. When I went to our guest spot there, they actually took me like as a surprise, and we went to see Joe Rogan in like a private booth over there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that was fucking rad. Like that was one of the dopest shit anyone did in a guest spot for me ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, man, I'm all about the headphones, and like I said, before I stopped talking, there was
Yeah.
it kind of takes the one-on-one chat, I guess, away from the client. I mean, like some of them, I don't know if clients are kind of like sometimes.
How are you? Do you like talking to your clients, or do you prefer not to?
You know me, man. I'm a straightforward guy. So if I don't really like dig you as a person, I don't give a fuck to talk to you, kind of sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not because like I think you're a fucking tool. It's just I don't have fuck all to say, man. I'm either when I get to work, I'm either quiet or I just don't shut the fuck up. Either one. So I mean, like it can go either way. I mean, I'm either going to talk the person's ear off or I'm just not going to say a goddamn word. So whatever.
I think I'm kind of, yeah, exactly. I think I'm kind of the same because I have the basic, I call it the basic spiel, the basic one-on-one conversation that I always try to have with everyone, especially in the beginning of the tattoo, to kind of put them at ease a little bit. You know what I mean? Who you are, where you're from, what do you do?
Yeah.
But usually by now, most of the people I tattoo are people that have been tattooing for a couple of years. So the conversation, it's I can't do that anymore. So most of the time it's just they put on their headphones. Nowadays with phones, they just watch it on their phones or listen to music.
Just put their AirPods in or whatever.
And I got the Google Home shit. I have the whole room to myself. So
That's good.
just
You said
playing
the
my shit.
upstairs is just for you and guest artists, like none of
Yeah,
your
pretty
other
much the upstairs right now is set up as there's a bit of a small lobby, an office, and then a second room where it has two tattoo stations. Um, um, Basically, I work there, and there's a guest spot station, a guest artist station. That's pretty much the concept.
nice.
Yeah.
What who have you had at your shop? I'm not gonna say recently because of
Wow.
COVID.
Recently, yeah. I
Yeah.
would say since between the closures, let's call it. Yeah, you know what? It's actually been super rad. I had Ryan Alexander, who is a
Nice.
super dope pointillism, Mandela dot work kind of guy. He works out of London, Ontario.
Hmm.
He's actually from London, from England, UK, but he works in
Yeah.
London, Ontario. I had Dom from Costa Rica. He's actually Canadian, but he learned how to tattoo in Costa Rica. He's now working in Berlin Tattoo. His name is Dominic, Berlin Tattoo down in Kitchener. Super dope traditional guy. I had a recurring guest artist that we have from Quebec, who's a good buddy of ours, is James Boutelier. I'm probably fucking butchering his last name because it's French and I'm bad with that shit. But he comes over every few months because he's got a bunch of clientele here. He used to work with us full time, and then with COVID, he moved back to Quebec to be with his family.
Hmm.
Um, who else we had this year?
I know that I've come to your shop before and
Yes,
met
yeah, a couple of years
Rich
back.
Ren,
Yeah,
and I did the guest spot at your shop. But when I was there, I actually came down with Kyle, and Rich Ren was there.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Rich Run did a couple of guest spots with us. Alicia Harding, Roman Kirenkov down in Toronto, who does beautiful black and gray.
He's good.
Yeah, I mean, Garth Stone from Barry, who you know
Hmm.
probably,
Yeah, Garth's a good dude.
he's a good buddy of ours.
He's with Cody,
Yeah, down
brick
in
and mortar.
Brick and Mortar.
Brick and
Yeah,
mortar.
the
Yeah.
beautiful Japanese. Yeah.
Hmm.
We had Greg Fisher. He's a good buddy who now lives in Ottawa.
Yep, I used to work with him at
Uh,
in Barry.
yeah. I'm sure I'm fucking forgetting a few people. My good buddy Moore, who owns Moore Inc. down in Oshawa,
Hmm.
does beautiful black and gray.
So you
Uh,
guys get your fair share of guest artists there, man, which is good.
yeah, man. We try because you know what? I think first of all for when I do have an apprentice or when just the guys there, it's good exposure for all of us to just see. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I try to pick everybody's brains, man. I have never been too shy to ask a question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, of
I
course
try to
not.
figure out how everybody works.
Um, you got any injuries from your years of tattooing?
Injuries. I got a few soldering scars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from
From
making
making
needles and
needles.
shit. Yeah. We all got those,
Yeah,
bud. Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck.
Fuck. I got a few, you know, pokes on my fingers from my apprenticeship days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the
No,
best.
no.
Don't learn from this. Don't do this. But
Yeah.
see that
No.
motherfucker right
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
Our first tattoos on
Uh,
ourselves.
yeah, exactly. Straight
They're
up.
all oopsies, fuck ups. I
Yeah,
guess you could say,
yeah.
right?
And
Like
of course,
slip.
there's the little bit of the artist bump from the old coil,
Yeah.
the metal tubes, but
You got
that's
any
going
like
down.
neck or back injuries or anything like that?
Oh, for sure, shoulders, back. But like you know what, a lot of people, actually, the last few tattoo artists, because they're haven't been tattooing long and all that. They the guest artists, they've asked me something like, "Do I find tattooing hard?" And I immediately jump and say, "No, not anymore. Tattooing nowadays, bro, it is fucking a cakewalk compared to back in the day. Because I used to make my own needles. I used to clean my tubes. I used to, you know what I mean, have to like break down my machines and set them up. Like
Hmm.
nowadays, bro, it's a little pen thing that's wireless, and I just fucking put
Pre-made
a
needles and
tip
shit.
in.
And
Yeah, you know what
yeah.
I mean. Like I literally come to work, I tattoo, and I go home. Like, and I can use fucking 5, 6 needle groupings for one tattoo. I sometimes don't even use the needles that I pull out, but it's so accessible.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, getting like tools to do our job has gotten, a lot more convenient and stuff, right? With everything being pre-sterile from the manufacturer. And, again, the pens, rotaries, the cartridges, all that other shit, right? It's a lot easier, even with with coils and just actually regular needles on needle bars and stuff. It's all pre-done, right? They break open the pre-sterile tube and grip, and then pre-sterile needle, and throw it in, and away we go, right? But like, I mean, I still find some of the pieces I'm doing for sure are a little bit challenging.
For sure. The tattooing is
the technique of tattooing. Yeah. Like myself, like I try and push as many as I can of my own designs out. Of course, I have people coming in saying, hey man, I want to get this and this done or whatever, right? And then it's like, yeah, man, you got any reference photos, and then you create your own piece from there.
Of course, yeah.
Which helps. The reason why I say this, because it helps make it easier on me. I'm not saying it's not challenging to do the piece, even though I designed it, but since I did design it, I kind of already have it mapped out in my head and how I'm going to tackle the tattoo, right? Once the stencil's on you, and but then once you start, then you got to take other shit into consideration, like the client's skin or how they act, or they might pass out, they might piss themselves. I don't know, man. Like, who knows? It's happened, and that's why
it happens.
It happens. And it's happened to me. Like, I didn't piss myself. I've had people.
yeah. Oh, dude,
that fucking puked on, bro.
I've been lucky with the puke situation. I'm pretty quick with the trash can, being swept into the situation.
Yeah, I thought I was quick too. And I was quick. Their just aim did not fucking line up, bud. Apparently my arm was in the way.
We had a poor guy the other month that actually, tiny little tattoo. It happened actually to Cammy, which I feel bad laughing about. But the guy passed out, pissed himself, puked, all of it.
Well, I will say this with Cammy, it's the first time, and he needed it.
He needed it.
Yeah, you have to go through it.
He handled it like a champ too, so it's no words.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Attaboy.
I mean, but yeah. So finish the tattoo. That's the important part. The guy who got his tattoo.
Yeah, well, that's good. Part. It was small. It was funny too, because you said it was a small tattoo. The one that I did where I got puked on, it was literally a little fucking heart, probably the size of my pointer fingernail.
Oh, it's always those.
Or not a heart, a star or something like that. Yeah, it was on his forearm. And he wanted like 6 of them, but I literally just got through the first one, and I didn't even get through it. It was like fucking 3 little minuscule lines through. And that was it, man. He just went fucking green like the Grinch. And I was like, you're going to puke. And he just fucking, his mouth just filled up. I was like, fuck this. Here's the can. And that's it. My arm got it. So I know that you mentioned, with tattooing in Israel and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man.
What made you get into it? What made you want to become a tattoo artist? I know that you said that you were 14. I think. Yeah,
I was 14. I went into a tattoo shop, and it was just like the local, back alley tattoo shop in the town next to mine, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I guess I looked a little older, or he just didn't give a shit, one or the other. This is again, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? No, 20 years ago now. Yeah. So he basically I got my first tattoo, and about a month later I went and I got my second tattoo, and I just started hanging out at that tattoo shop, and I just, he did a lot of stuff badly. There's a lot of stuff that I learned, a lot of bad habits.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I went and I re-apprenticed at 18, and I, relearned a lot of things. Yeah. So the road was long, you know what I mean? But
that's the same.
But you know what I mean? I got to experience a lot of stuff that people who are usually a lot older than me got to experience, because he did a lot of stuff in a backwards, 70s kind of way.
He was an old boy.
He was an old boy, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of the examples I always tell people is, so you know how you have the flash books to pick your design from, of course.
Yeah.
So he would have all of the designs that he has already, hand stenciled and put on people. He would take the piece of paper and put it in a numbered bag. And when people would pick the design, he would have the stencil already ready, and he would reapply that same stencil.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we would have bags of purple stencils. Oh yeah, man. He's the only tattoo shop I've ever seen that had ink on the paintings on the wall.
Oh, for
I could never understand how did the ink got so far up. Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of gross, man. Well, it's not kind of gross. It is
Oh,
fucking gross.
it's very gross. It's very gross.
Yes.
But you know what? Again, like I told you, man, like I got to see a lot of stuff that nowadays you don't get. You know what I mean? The man used to tattoo at least 10 to 15 people a day. You know what I mean? And all single needle, 8 round. That's pretty much all he used at the time. 15 volts, bam, fucking banging them out.
Yeah,
You know what I
jackhammers.
mean?
Just going.
Jackhammers, yeah. But you know what I mean? I got to see a lot of stuff that if I would work in a proper tattoo shop, you don't get to see that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So every bad experience has, you know what I mean, a good lesson in it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And like you said, I've had to do the same thing, man. I had to relearn a lot of my shit too. You know, I'm not gonna say I re-apprenticed after I was done my first apprenticeship, but I definitely went under some wings at that point,
yeah,
right? And then you know, I had to forget some things that I was taught, and then
yeah, dude. I can tell you,
I
for
don't
me,
know.
one of the biggest things, like the way it worked for him is, first of all, he didn't have tattoos. Let's get into that.
Oh
But
wow,
he,
shit.
yeah. He basically let me work in the tattoo shop as long as I was drawing, helping people. But the minute it came to me wanting to learn how to tattoo, his apprenticeship style was, you buy equipment from me, you go home, you practice on some oranges, you practice on on some pigskin, you practice on some friends, on yourself, and then you can come tattoo here.
Well,
You
that's
know what I
weird.
mean? Yeah, which it was a lot of like, hey, basically try this equipment that you have no idea how to use.
Yeah, go
Uh,
figure it out for yourself.
Go figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. How long did you
So
do that for?
uh, about a year and a half, almost 2 years, because I really, the tattoos I was doing were so, again, this is from 16 to 17 kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The tattoos were so bad that I just didn't want to do them. You know what I mean? So it would be that I think in those 2 years I did maybe 25 tattoos, but that's where my redemption came from, because at that
Mhm.
time there was a website called Rate My Ink.
Yeah,
I don't know
we've
if you remember that.
actually, I do, and I remember there was fuck, was it BME or BMZ or
Yeah, there used to be BME Zine or whatever
yeah,
the fuck that was
BMEZ or
called.
yeah, something like that. There was a few of
But
those sites we talked about that
yeah,
before.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So basically, the on Rate My Ink, I used to post my tattoos, and the guy who later on became my mentor in Atlanta, he would comment on them and basically tell me that I was dog shit.
yeah,
But I would actually message him back and be like, what could I do different? And he's like, man, this, and this went on for about 2 years, until around 17, 18, just when I was about to finish high school. He offered me to come and apprentice in his shop in Atlanta,
nice,
and I got dishonorably discharged from the Israeli military, and moved to Atlanta.
crazy. And now here you are
And here I
in
am, man,
Canada. Yeah,
in Canada.
successful man, businessman, family man,
Yeah.
doing it right,
You
buddy.
know, amen, man.
Who who was a
Yeah,
lot of
though.
your influences with tattooing? Who do you look up to?
Ah, fuck, man. There's so
I
many.
know there's a lot. It's
You know what
kind
I
of a
mean.
crazy question.
I'm such a fan of tattooing. You know what I mean.
Pick your top three.
Pick my top three. Fuck, that's like asking me top
I know.
five rappers over here. Fuck. I love Peter. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Peter Largren.
Okay.
He's from Sweden.
Yep.
Does amazing neotrad Japanese inspired. I can't even describe it. Just the sheer saturation and the even flow, color areas that he works on. It's just it's beautiful. His work is just, it's beautiful, inspiring, like you said. Who else do I love? Fuck, so many, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at Peter Larkin right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh.
No, no,
What?
no. It's Peter. I'm butchering his last name. Let me pull it up. I'll
This
actually
guy's
read
got
it.
neo
So
tread. This guy?
no.
No.
1 sec. I'm gonna.
Fuck.
Pull him
I'm
up.
trying to. Yeah, I'm
I'm
trying.
butchering the last name. I told you,
Yeah, yeah.
Peter.
You're no good with that Swedes
Okay,
either.
Lagergern. I'm gonna try and
The
find the
Gurgern.
camera. Lagergern or some shit.
Hold on, I see it.
L
I think.
Peter, Lagern. ER.
ERGREN, the Gurgren.
Yes, yes.
Holy shit, man. He's got
Holy shit. Yes, yes. Holy shit is indeed.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, bro.
Man, he's got like
And
bigger scale, colorful shit, man.
that's
good.
just he's very good. He's very good.
Very good. You know what's funny is
Um,
I can see a lot of the stuff that you do resembles this kind of style. You can tell that this guy influences you, man. You know what's funny? I'm looking at a back piece right now. It's a dragon with a skull and stuff like that, and I see your style.
No, thank you, bro. That's one of the best compliments I could ever get. So I'll definitely come out with that.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, I love his work. I love, again, because I grew up on tattoo magazines, bro. Like I you know what I mean. So a lot of the guys I like are some of the older cats. So you know what I mean. I love Hanging Jorgensen from Royal Tattoo, and again, also I think Denmark. I don't know why I'm hitting all the Vikings over here, but the guy does just beautiful traditional Japanese and just has been doing it steadily and just perfect for the past 20 years. You know what I mean? 25 years. You know what? I'm feeling like a dick because I'm not mentioning some of the people that I've been fortunate enough to get tattooed by.
In your defense, I asked you for your three. Top
three,
right?
Yeah.
Nobody can get butthurt here. You literally just mentioned a neo-trad guy, essentially neo-trad kind of Japanese guy, and then you went to pretty much traditional Japanese. So let's
and you know what? I'm gonna give you a black and gray now. Now I'm gonna go black and gray with you.
Yeah, give me a black and gray or realism or something like that. Give me.
Yeah, he's realism, black and gray. A little. Again, I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me. So Ralph.
I know who you're talking about. Right off the hop. All portraits.
Yeah. Non-wilter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Insane, bud.
Insane. Just the sheer saturation and the variation of tone that he gets in these tiny little portraits. The texture.
It's ridiculous, So I see on his socials, whether it's because I think he's on my Facebook too and his Instagram. So he'll do the little, the 1 minute
videos of him working. Yeah.
I don't know if they're slowed down or something, or if he's actually moving that slow.
I think it's a little half and half on that.
Because I know you don't see a lot of fucking redness and swelling and stuff, and he's probably got filters on a lot of this shit, which again, toning down the fucking saturation maybe to get the redness I think. Anyways, it's ridiculous.
It's just not like he's got a rooster head one.
I'm looking at that right now, dude.
It's just
the textures in that fucking.
You want to just put the machine down.
Right here,
what I mean? There's no point to it.
Yeah, these guys make you want to fucking quit your job, eh?
Oh, amen.
Like,
bro.
man, I'm hanging up my machines and fucking, rethinking my life.
Yeah, he's exactly. I do want to give a few honorable mentions. You know what I mean? There's people that I don't like you said, like in Peter Largins, you can see how I reference or how I like that work, or with Hanging with the Japanese. But these kind of guys, it's not stuff that I like doing or that I do even. It's just my sheer awe at their ableness, their ability to do it on such a small scale and to not hurt the skin, to get the saturation right, to get tones, to be able to do it. There's a guy named Kozo Tattoo. He's from Israel.
Okay.
Kozo.
Was he on the gram as well?
Yes. He works sometimes, I believe, in Bang Bang in New York.
Kozo Tattoo?
Yeah. He sometimes posts videos of how he works. So
yeah, Bang Bang Forever.
So I love watching it just because every time I think I know how he does it or what he does to create that effect, he uses a completely different technique than what I would ever imagine. So
he's doing like a lot
beautiful to watch.
Polaroid style, like 4x6
paintings. Yeah, it's tiny. Everything's tiny. Everything's tiny, bro.
Okay, so I saw this image that's on here. I did not know that was him. It's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
The two of them dancing, Travolta and what's her nuts there dancing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
it's hard to see, but
whatever. Anyway, you know exactly what it is. You follow the guy.
Yeah, I follow the guy.
Dude, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The
So
two
there's a whole
jokers.
wave. Yeah, there's a whole wave of Israeli tattooers right now that are pulling this kind of work, which is it's very, you know what I mean. Again, I fuck. It's a very argument in my head kind of situation because where I come from, tattooing is about its coverage and flow
Yeah.
and imagery needs to be big so the color and the tone can blend into the skin over time. And there's all these rules that we were taught.
Yeah.
And then these guys are just painters. They're artists that picked up another medium in their eyes. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're breaking all those rules and all those limitations. You know what I mean? And it's just in a
It
way
blows
it's
you away,
frustrating,
man.
but it blows you away,
It
man.
blows
It's
you
just
away.
like,
I've got my top guys, or my favorite influencers, or just shit like that. And I have too many as well. I mean, if you ask me the same question, I'd be
please
like,
give me
you're
three.
a
Yeah, please give
dick,
me three. Yeah, give me
and
three.
I
Come
would,
on.
oh fuck.
Let me put you on the hot seat.
No, go fuck yourself. Your pieces. Have you
Yeah.
gotten like what pieces have you got by any of your influences?
Me? No, I haven't gotten a chance to get tattooed by those people I mentioned, but I've
Yeah.
been very fortunate, bro. I just I got some pieces from I got a piece by Stu Pagden from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
who does super dope like neo Japanese. I got some pieces from one of my biggest influences who tattooed me because I love Japanese tattooing. Is his name is Avi Vanunu. It's a little
Okay.
hard to pronounce for you guys. He's from Israel. He's been doing it for about almost 30 years now. He's one of the first guys that tattooed and showed Ami James how to tattoo a little bit, like they're good friends.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing it for a very long time. Yoni Zilber was one of his apprentices back in the day, who is now in New York, adorned in New York. He's a very good artist, and he just showed me because I came from that, you know what I mean, back alley street shop shit.
Mm-hmm.
And at 17, I started getting tattooed by him. I got my half sleeve and eventually my full sleeve by him, and it was the first time where I saw a completely different world of tattooing.
Yeah.
It's the first time I saw bagged equipment, bro. I literally asked him, why do you have a bag on your clipcord? You know what I mean? But it was also the first time I saw the whole like master and apprentice relationship. He always had either his apprentice in the room drawing or painting, or his machines would be pre-set up, the needles and the tubes and shit. And if he would see like an 11 mag where he wanted a 9 mag, he would call his apprentice in, and the guy would come in and change the needles for him.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Where it showed me that old school respect, that you know what I mean, that learning by doing, that you know what I mean. It was just at 17, man. It blew my mind.
Yeah, no shit, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
So if you were to pick one artist to tattoo you,
Oof.
one artist. Actually, here I'll do two. I'll do a color piece and a black and gray piece.
You know what? I don't have a lot of black and gray tattoos. I got my first black and gray tattoo by my buddy Moore from Moore Inc. in Oshawa 2 years ago. It's a portrait of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it's appropriate because he actually met my grandfather before he passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Moore and I actually both grew up in Israel together. We both moved to the States in different times, and both ended up moving to Canada and opening tattoo shops in Canada.
Who would you want to get tattooed by if you could?
Who would I
Black
want to
and gray
get
piece.
tattooed by? Black and gray.
Would it be
piece.
Ralph? Or
might be Ralph,
probably
just to watch him work. Yeah, that's just watching him work. You know what I mean? Don't really care what it would be, just to watch him work.
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? I think one of the best ways to learn about tattoos or about technique is to watch a person tattoo you.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think who I would really want to just. You know what? I'm going to have to say Peter. I'm not going to try to say the last name. I just to fucking see how he get that saturation. Like, I don't know if you saw his profile, but he's got some hand pieces that you're just like, Like
Is
you've
this the
worked on
black and
enough
gray or
hands.
color?
No, the color guy, the color
Oh,
guy.
okay. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And you've worked on enough hands to know, like
Yeah.
to get that kind of, you'll see it. And when you'll see it, you'll be like, how do you get that kind of saturation,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like application? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, there's so many guys. Like, you know, again, like I have a Horiyoshi, like a Horiyoshi one, not Horiyoshi, sorry. Fuck, I'm getting his name confused right now. But one of the Horiyen. I have a Horiyen one piece on my leg that I got done in Tabori a couple of years back. That, you know, that was like a bit of a dream just to get a Irizumi Tabori piece
Yeah.
properly done. Um,
It's crazy. You mentioned the hand tattoos and stuff, and
yeah.
you know, whether it's on the hand or, you know, whatever, the arm and shit like that. We've, as artists, we've always got to watch and pay attention to the client coming in too. If they're, you know, I know for me, and I'm sure you get it too. You get guys that come in and they work outside. You know, their hands are all
Mhm.
fucking beat up. Their arms are fucking leather from the sun because they work outside. And you know, they want these big, bright, bold, colorful pieces, or you know, this black and gray piece that's like super intricate, and it's like tattooing
I
a brick.
rather
You know, they
I
got
rather be
cuts
honest
everywhere
with
and
them.
shit.
I rather be honest with them. I always like tell them that, like, there is always, in my opinion, there's always a way to figure out a solution. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can't do 110% of exactly what you want, but I can do a variation of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In a way where I know, which you know what I mean? After you've seen your tattoos 10, 15 years later, you learn some stuff from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing you learn from time, I think, is I should have done that bigger. I shouldn't have done those little details. I shouldn't have put that there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of being able to know how that's going to heal on a person. You know what I mean? So sometimes, I'll be honest with you, by seeing someone's skin or where I'm placing the tattoo, I will make artistic or tonal changes or even needle changes to how I'm going to tattoo it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely take that into effect. You know what I mean? Like
But you got
you're
to.
getting, yeah, like yeah, 100%. You have to. But that's something that comes from experience. You know what I mean? Like um, I remember when 2010, I used to work in California and I tattooed a lot of Marines. I used to work at 29 Palms, which is a Marine town. It's basically a giant Marine base with 10,000 Marines, about 11 tattoo shops, and 4 massage parlors, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's pretty much the entire town. So we were tattooing Marines every day, all day when they're on leave. And one of the biggest lessons that I got from there is I used to hate tattooing ribs. I used to be one of those like, oh, it's on your ribs. It's I used to fucking psych myself out. And I did so many ribs out there that I kind of fucking beat that out of myself. But B, it was dealing with their skin, because you think Marines, you think in shape guys, right? But you got to understand that these in shape guys weren't in shape before they got to basic training, so they lost a lot of weight. So the skin is very rubbery
Stretchy.
or stretchy.
Yeah.
So it created a whole new set of challenges. Let alone that it's ribs, it's fucked up skin on ribs.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
personally can't stand tattooing the ribs. Fucking hate it.
You
I've
see,
done my
so
fair
so
share, and I'm just
oh,
not.
amen. Amen. But I
Mhm.
can tell you one of the biggest things that I constantly, and it's a good lesson I learned from a great tattoo artist buddy of mine. His name is Arad Bert. Again, another his Israeli name that's hard to pronounce, but he told me a bit of advice where he said, "Skin is skin is skin is skin." You know what I'm saying? I do
Mhm.
not disassociate where I'm tattooing to my ability of tattooing. Like, I know how to tattoo. I'm gonna do a tattoo regardless of where the tattoo is. I don't
Oh,
care where you
I
put it.
agree with you, but
And that
and
and
I agree with
I'm
that
just
those
saying,
words,
mentally,
but
I just try to like put
yeah,
that in the back of my head.
I just mean like you got guys that'll come in and you know again they work outside, they're all beat up, their arms are
Yeah,
leather, their hands are cut up with this and that, and they want a fucking
yeah,
forearm piece, top of the forearm, and then you know going onto their hand and stuff, and you know you can tattoo it, but
yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's
In
not
your
gonna
head, you're
stay.
like, fuck, man, you know what he's asking for is not, it's not gonna stick, it's
It's
gonna
not gonna
fall out.
stay. Yeah, yeah,
Or they get tattooed and then they go out in the summer and they work with their hands and stuff, and they, you see them fucking 2 years later and your tattoo is beat up, all the shit,
Yeah, that's
barely
you
see
know
it.
what. To me, I would say that's the worst part of it, because I try to be very honest with people. Like I'll tell a person what his options and what I would guarantee would come out well and what I can't guarantee and what's just gonna, you know what I mean, unfortunately gonna fall out, man. Like you're
Yeah.
just taking a risk. Like anyone that wants anything on their hands, I first make sure that they're heavily tattooed, but secondly, I make sure that they either Google or look at healed finger and hand tattoos,
Hmm.
so they actually know what they're facing. Because it's not, you know what I mean, even those pictures you see online, like it's a lot of times it doesn't look like that after a while. And
Yeah, I
that's
actually
the
don't do I don't tattoo fingers and stuff anymore. And the reason
really.
why is because it's not because I don't like tattooing them. It's because of the healing process, and it usually falls out. Like the inside of the finger the girls like to get and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks
So
cool when you tattoo it, but most of the time that shit falls out. It's but these little lanky fucking lines and shit. And I'm basically just taking their fucking money,
yeah,
which
but you
I'm
see,
not
like
about.
that's where I still enjoy the technicality of tattooing,
Mhm,
because the way I look at it is this: I know that there are guys out there that have figured out the proper application to doing that.
mhm.
There are guys out there. The fact of the matter is that those tattoos exist. I kind of want to figure out myself too. You know what I'm saying? And I won't lie to you. I don't say to anyone that I guarantee finger tattoos, but my side of the hands or finger tattoos,
Yeah, mine
I
all
would
fell out,
say,
buddy.
no. But you see, to me, I would say the ones I do, I would say between 85 to 95%, I will guarantee it. Like I have people that I do like a full word on the side of their finger thing, and it'll be just like one letter will fall out, but these are solid. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Or like I just did on a guy, I did the mountain shit on him. I did a sleeve, and then when we finished the sleeve, he's like, "Can you do the mountain thing here?" And I was like, "It's not gonna stay. You work outside." And when he came in for another session on his sleeve, you know, it was fucking perfect. Like I was stoked on it. So, and you see other guys, you see like the Mike Kennys of the world that do finger knuckle tattoos and full over knuckles, and the shit is like he just did my wife. Shout out Mike Kenny, he just did a beautiful job on my wife's knuckles, and the shit is dead on, like fucking
Nice.
beauty. And that's application. That's just figuring out what needles, how to play them. And I love that about tattooing, man. That's the funnest part. It's
Mhm.
constantly challenging.
Well,
You know what I
constantly
mean?
learning, right? You never stop learning and you
No,
never
man.
stop
That's
absorbing information,
like
right?
I always tell people, one of the reasons I enjoy color portraits so much lately is it's the only tattoo that still makes me sweat.
Yeah,
You know what I
dude,
mean?
I hear you. I do a lot of
So,
color portraits too, man, and they're
and
they're
color
they're
portraits,
challenging at times.
until you are done, it doesn't look right.
Nope.
Until everything is in there, until the whites are in there, until the darks are in there, until the this is in there, it doesn't look right. It's always going to look a little off until it's finished. So
Yep.
it's the only tattoo that still gets me a little bit, like gets that, you know what I mean, pump that
Well, I know there's a lot of shit that I've seen a lot of your work and stuff that I like, obviously, and I've hit the smash the like button on
much
a lot of your
appreciated.
photos, but that definitely the one that you just posted, I think yesterday or the day before with the Venom,
Yeah, yeah.
dude,
Thank you, bro.
so good, buddy. Good
Thank you,
fucking
bro.
job, man. Absolutely
Thank you.
destroyed it. So
Thank you.
in a good way, destroyed it.
Uh,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure. No,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been very fortunate with that. I kind of, I did a Saga Anderson seminar
Yep.
at the Fredericton Tattoo Convention. Shout out Saga, shout out Fredericton Tattoo Convention. Brent Buchanan. Um, you know what I mean? I did the seminar over there, and one of the two things I really took to heart from three actually, but that I took to heart from the seminar was um, he said something about, if you want to do a certain style of tattoo, really push that style with, and even if you have to cut your price on what you're going to do on it, or just, you know what I mean, invest more time than what it's worth or whatever, do that tattoo, because then after you have those 5 pictures, you'll get those 10 pictures, you'll be able to build that portfolio, and then you'll get the people that will sit for the proper amount of, you know,
Hmm.
time hourly ratio.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest things I took from there. Yeah, and you know what? It's working out that way. You know, I'm getting to do a lot of those because people saw that I do those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty simple concept, but
Yeah, I would like to sit on some of these seminars too, man. I know last year, Nick's name was Steve Butcher.
Yep,
He
I
was
would love to
gonna
do that.
have. Yeah, I was all signed up for it, and actually, I couldn't end up going. Um,
Oh shit.
it's unfortunate, but yeah, man, I'd love to hit up these seminars, man, and absorb all this shit. I know that you mentioned off air here, the Joshua Carlton DVD, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I've watched before too, man. And actually, I think it was that DVD I watched right before I had to do one of my very first black and gray portraits, and
Nice.
the portrait was a black person, but it was black and gray, and it was on a white person, white skin, and I was like, fuck, man, I was so nervous, and they were so adamant on me doing it, and I was like, man, like, and I love that feeling, the butterflies in the stomach, and
Yeah.
knowing that you're going into a challenge and stuff, but I was still so new, right? So like when I get that feeling now of the butterflies in the stomach, it's like, oh yeah, here we go, this brings
Yeah.
me back. Let's just kind of do it, right? But when I was the first 3-4 years of tattooing,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
fucking
dog
sweating
shit.
buckets.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sweating. Yeah, you get the tattoo sweats going on, and but I haven't seen the portrait since I've done it,
Oh
so
shit.
that
Yeah.
that probably that'll probably tell you a lot. But anyway, that's that DVD itself. That
Yeah.
seminar, I guess, right? I don't think a lot of artists will do seminar DVDs now. I think they just kind of hold
Yeah. Just
seminars
tattoo.
essentially,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do that
But
kind of stuff. But yeah, man, that was a very
man,
informative
like,
DVD too.
yeah, that's I used that. I remember for my first fucking few portraits. Every time I used to watch that before and like sit on the way he makes his stencils and the way he approaches darks to lights and breaks down areas in the tattoo. Again, since then I've breaking away to my own way.
Hmm.
I can tell you I definitely don't put as much work into the stencils. I used to fully make, like, if I would show you pictures of my old color, like of my
Yeah.
portrait stencils, you would see every tone in the purple. You know what I mean? It was a
Hmm.
fully shaded fucking stencil. I would kill the stencil
Yep.
paper, but nowadays I just do an outline.
You know whose stencils that I cannot read to this day is Nico.
Nico, yeah,
Yep.
can
I've
I
seen them and I'm
understand the
like, what the
concept.
fuck? Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
understand the concept
yeah,
of breaking, light sources and putting in the
yeah.
tonal, but it is, I feel like it's beyond that. And also, I don't know if you ever tried the Pawnee Lawson's
Pony
app.
Lawson's. No, okay. So I was literally just gonna mention that was I use
Yeah.
a different way. I think it's like the Sketch Pro or some shit on the iPad, and I
Okay.
run my images through that, and then I put it through this other app. Anyway, it basically converts it into like a stencil style. So all
Yeah.
of the
Same
blacks are
concept.
same. Yeah, same concept, but it's almost reversed. So with this one, if there's any solid black, like say if it's a black and gray portrait I'm printing off, and it's like say hair, there's solid parts in the hair and shit, it shows up on the stencil solid black. So with ponies, I think that's his name, Pony or Pawnee, whatever the fuck. Sorry. But anyway, on his app, I believe the blacks come out blank. So they come out skin tone, right? So it's reversed. So I'm not, and it's a lot of it's dots and shit.
I'll be honest with you, Jake uses it. Jake McQueen over at the shop, he
Yeah.
uses it, and I see the stencils, and I get anxiety from looking at them. I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I personally, I am still old fashioned with it. Even on the iPad, I still line everything perfectly, like
Yeah.
with like ballpoint pen like
Yep.
lines,
Mhm.
because I like studying the general shape. And when I put a stencil, I like seeing an outline, even if it's a portrait. I'll sometimes either color or shade line it,
Mhm.
just because I'm so unfortunately structured with the line, shade, color.
Yep.
So some stuff sometimes it's a little hard for me to break away from that and not line the entire fucking tattoo right away.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, but the Joshua Carlton DVD was amazing. I remember watching the Nate Beavers DVD back in the day. It blew my mind.
Mhm.
Bob Tyrell had one.
Yep.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
and
They're
that's yeah.
all right, buddy. Well, we're
Right,
coming
brother.
up on that time, man. So,
Yeah, man. Again,
um,
thank you for having me.
hey, fuck, no problem, buddy. Thanks for doing it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, man.
maybe we can do it again
Yeah, bro.
sometime in the future for
Anytime. You
sure.
know where I'm at. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, brother. I'll talk to you in 2 seconds here, man.
All right, brother.
All
Have
right,
a good
brother.
night.
Later.